Well, hello folks, this is FatGuyFliesRC coming to you from the FatGuyFliesRC studios. Alright, FMS reached out to me and they said we got some more planes we'd like for you to review, and they have it for our upcoming December 25 Christmas sale, which has already started because I think today is what, now the 8th, so I'm a little late to the party. But they sent one of the planes they sent out was this F4-U CORSAIR 1400mm. This is one of their older planes. But they said let's get it reviewed, and I said okay, this is one I don't have. I've never had this plane, so it's going to be new to me also. Let's get out of the box and take a look at it. Obviously it's 1400mm wingspan. It does boast that it's easy to assemble with no gluing required, so that's always a good thing, mostly, usually. And when you're opening up these kind of boxes, it is a huge help. Trust me when I tell you this, it's a huge help to open both ends. Because oftentimes the vacuum is so great that it makes it kind of hard. Alrighty. And I'm sorry if I don't do what it seems to be the most recent trend in TikTok videos, where I open up the box and snap my fingers and everything falls out of the box, and I snap my fingers and they all appear, the plane appears good together. No, I want us to go through the process step by step. That way you can appreciate it. If I run into problems and there's snags and things that need to be addressed, you can discover them as I discover them. Alrighty. Now, one thing. Anytime you have this kind of stuff, make sure you open it all the way up. These companies are famous for this kind of packing material, famous for hiding bits and pieces in them. And usually it's a solid foam piece and hidden in that solid white foam. So, alrighty. Open everything up here. Take all of our bits and pieces out. Now I may do the magic of preventating and take everything out of the plastic here. That first wing here. All the servos and gear, everything's already installed. Got some compression there. That's unfortunate there, but this plane has obviously been sitting in the box for a while. You do have a foam hinge here, and that's okay because it's got some laminate on there. Got lights there. Lights there. Very nice finish. We'll have to install our control services, or control arms. It's no big deal. Don't undo the zip tie just yet. Get the wing on first, and then all you want to deal with is with that there. I like it. This is all hard plastic here. Rear doors are plastic. Yeah, that looks nice. That looks very nice. Okay. These make helpful little mats right here. A nice non-folded manual is always a good thing. Here is our, I can get hold of it, our propellers. The only two, and they were important, inspected by Aviation. Only two wing spurs you need, these two smaller ones. These will hold both pieces of the gull wing together. Everything you need to put your prop together. You got to glue in each of the blades. And then here is all your bits and bobs and your control and your screws and all that kind of stuff. Now, there's nothing in here, so I'm going to put that there. Nothing in here, nothing in here. Looks like, okay, if you don't want to put, that's what this is. If you want to have these missiles, and you can glue them to these attachment points, and then you can take this on or off. So it makes it entirely optional. Alright. Everything is packed nice together, like you can drop it off the back of a box or back of a truck without damaging everything. Very nice elevator. Yes, it does have a pinch hinge, but it has got laminate in there, so that's nice. Make sure you always work these hinges. Always work your hinges. Work it, work it, work it. And it's actually very good that they glue or tape all these pieces to connect to each other, because if this thing jostles around inside the back of the truck, that way they won't slide around and get damaged. Nice vertical stabilizer with a hard point there where the screw goes in. Hard point there where the screw, then tongue grooves in. There again, a laminate, a pinch hinge, but with a laminate reinforcement. Nice Ziploc bag there. We can keep something in that. I have a bad habit of keeping a lot of stuff. Another mat there. Some very nice scale drop tanks, gas tanks. The other wing. Decals already applied. There's some compression damage. There was something set on that. Other parts probably. But that's to be expected. That just gives it character. Don't blow about that. That's going to happen. When you have things that are actually broken or actually don't work, then you want to throw it away. The fuselage out. I do like the fact they took the time to protect this part of the fuse back here. Alright, looks like this is important because if you look at where you join your wings, you're going to go metal screws into metal housings. So that's very nice. That is very nice. Alright. Take all this off of here. Okay. Now this is not retractable, but this is a steering nose or tail wheel. So already got fuel tubing on your clevises, so that's good. Take a look at our large, very large. Now that's a tongue and groove canopy bag. Strong magnets hold that in. Then you got a pretty big battery compartment here with an EC5 connector. And if you notice, see that yellow pigtail on that throttle? That means there's thrust reversing. Now that is an 80 amp ESC, so that makes me curious. I thought this was a 4S plane. Oh, the 80 amp ESC says 3 to 6S, so we could fly this on 6S. It's got an EC5 connector, so we'll look at the instructions. Then of course everything is labeled clearly for your radio connection, so you don't have to worry about that. And your rudder and your elevator are completely adjustable, if that makes that nice. That's interesting about that EC. I thought this was a 4S only plane. Okay, but with that 80 amp ESC, it clearly says 3 to 6S on it. Well, then that tells me we could fly it on 6S if we wanted to. Probably won't, but we could. All right. All right. Now here's the part where we have the magic of editing. Okay. We set all this stuff up here. We got both of our wing halves. Okay. All right, we got both of our wing halves. We got our vertical stabilizer, our horizontal stabilizer, instructions, bits and bobs. Everything we need, everything here is put together. So let me get my tools together, look at the manual a little bit, and we'll change our camera positions, and we'll be right back, and we'll start putting this plane together. Alrighty, we're back. Got everything out and ready. And what we're going to do is we're going to start out with putting on the tail feathers. Now you got your top of your fuse here, and you're going to have your vertical or horizontal stabilizer. That's just going to fit in there just like the pieces of a puzzle, just like that. Okay. You're going to need a Phillips head screwdriver for this. Okay. And you're going to take these screws here. You're going to drop them right in there, just like that. And then we'll secure them in place. Support it from the underside. I'll get a little bit better of a screwdriver there. Yeah, I know it's overkill, but I like to have good. All right, when you start seeing that foam dent in, you're definitely there. Okay, that's definitely in there. Start seeing that foam dent in, you know you're there. Okay, then you're going to take your elevator or your rudder, tug and groove in. Okay, and that's going to fit right down there like the pieces of a puzzle. Okay, just like that. See how that goes together? Okay, now you're going to take the other screw that looks like this. Okay, one of these longer screws, and you're going to go in from the top here. It's all another one going to just another piece of the puzzle going to fit in there. Always drop a screw at least once because that's just law. Okay, you know what? That's the wrong screw. These ones that have like a clear area on them. Use the other ones. Use the one that doesn't have that. Okay. My plane's wanting to move around on my plane stand. All right, let me get this in there. I know this screw is overkill, but the screwdriver's a bit overkill, but I feel like I have good control with it. Again, you start seeing the area, that foam dent in a little bit, you know you are there, and that is there. You're going to turn it over now. Okay, and you see this spot right here. All right, I think this might be able to get moved out of there. I don't know if that's decorative or what. That's glued in there. We can get around it. Take the other screw that has the threads all the way down. You know what? Let me see if I can get that to pop out of there. Oh no, it is glued in. All right, that's fine. We can get around it. We can get around it. This is modeling after all. Yeah, and that connects to that bottom hard section. Sorry, I know this makes the camera go out of focus here. And you definitely tell when it's getting bite. All right. That is definitely in there, and that's not going anywhere. All right, now, while we're here, you'll have one extra of these kind of screws, which is famous for FMS. And then after that, you'll have the one bag, you'll have these 4 large wing bolts. So we're not going to worry about that. Oh yeah, you get an extra one of the all threaded screws, which is normal for FMS. A lot of times they'll give you an extra of everything, of extra 1 screw at least. All right, so what we're going to start doing now, I'm going to do one for you. If you look for the bag that has the control circuit or control arms in it, the bag that has 3, because you got 1 on each side of the elevator, and then you got 1 on the rudder. Okay, so the bag that has 3 sets. So you're gonna have 6 pieces, and then you're gonna have Looks like 1, 2, 3, 6 screws. Okay. Now these individual bags here, they actually have the control arms or push rods in them. This is one wing and this is the other wing. So put those aside, and we're going to concentrate on this. And I'm just going to do the rudder, okay, real quick. And then I'll show you, and then I'm going to do the same thing to the wing, but I'll do all that off. I'm going to show you, I'll do one on the wing and one on the rudder, and then I'm going to do off camera, do the rest of them, because it's just monotonous, repetitious work. So, pull everything out of the little baggie, little box here. Okay. Now, the thing about with FMS, these type of control arms, okay, you are always going to put this angled part towards the connection. So if that's going to go on there like that, facing that, and then we're going to be working from the other side, and then you're going to take this plate and see how you got two sections that are raised. See how they're kind of raised? These two sections got more material. Those are the material. That's what's going to be hooking in. They're going to be sandwiching in to there. I'm going to go ahead and attach this one, and then I'm going to, off camera, do the rest of the plane. Okay. But the easiest way to do this is to go ahead and have that side dry fitted in, and then put this side in like this, and just kind of hold that in place, sandwich that in place. Maybe. Kind of look, all right, now that thick end there is going to be up in this corner towards me here, so I'm going to make sure I put my first screw in there. Okay, and you're going to be using these kinds of screws. Okay. Is putting the two screws through, and then screwing it in on the other side. And I'm going to do that too. So I'm going to do the whole plane, and we'll come right back. All right, now I'm back. Now if you'll notice, I've got all the clevises on there and all the control arms on there. Now, something I didn't mention, you're going to want to put the longer screw. You're going to have two screws with each of these sets. The longer screw goes closest in, and the smallest screw closest out. And you're going to want to screw it into the part that has the most material on that back plate. Okay? So you'll see the backing plate, which is the flat plate here. These are the flat plates. On the underside, they have those raised donut-looking structures. You want to screw into those raised donut-looking structures, okay? That way you have the most bite. And I've done that on all the control surfaces. Let me show you the elevator. Now, on the elevator, I decided to put a little bit of glue. And I know that says no glue, you don't need glue, but I like putting a little bit of glue in these, in between that sandwich between the two. And just because that's the elevator, did the same thing with the rudder and did the same thing with the ailerons. All right. So at this point, we can now start putting our wing on. All right. So you're going to grab your wing. Okay. You're going to grab your two small spars. These right here. Okay. Obvious where they go. They have a stopping point. Just like that. You're going to take both halves of your wing, okay? And that's your control wing. Do not undo this nest of wires. All you want to be able to make sure you got a hold of are these quick connect wires here. Okay, so set your wing off to the side for just a moment. Grab your fuselage with your, that's preferably on a plane stand. You're going to want to turn it upside down, okay, to where you see this right here. You're going to be taking these 4 very long screws, and you're going to need a 2mm hex drive. Okay, go ahead and grab your wing. You're going to turn it upside down. Okay, letting all those wires, all that bundle is going to hang down in this great big opening here. Okay. Remember, the front of the wing, this right here, is going to tongue and groove right in there. So make sure all those wires kind of tuck up in there, especially those quick connect wires. You may have to reach in from underneath and kind of fish them through. But everything's going to fit kind of tight, which that's okay. Remember, like I've said many, many times, a tight-fitting model is a happy model. Okay? We have to go in from the side, but you want to get everything all tucked, all kind of falling down in there. You might have to fight with it a little bit. That's understandable. Okay. All right. Now everything's in there. I was able to clearly see that all the wires rotated inwards. You're going to take these plastic doublers, and it's obvious how they fit in there. They're keyed. They only go in one way. And then you're going to have these 4 wing bolts. Now the longer of the wing bolts go to the front, and the shorter ones go to the back. Okay, so put your long ones up front. It's obvious how they go. Well, let me get this one. I don't think I got this. I think I missed the hole on this one. Okay. I should feel a line, a place where it stops at, and that's going to go into the screw head there. Let's see. Alrighty, I'm back. Now, as you can say, wait a minute, the model's all put together. Well, I fought with that wing bolt, and that wing bolt, and that wing bolt, and that wing bolt for so long, I must have took that wing on and off 7 or 8 times in order to finally got the wing and that bolt, and it just happened to line up. And I just had to keep feeling for it and feeling for it, and finally with my fingers, I felt it hit the right spot and anchored it right in. Then it went in like it wasn't a problem at all. Okay, so then I went ahead and got the wing on, ran all the wires through like I'd already shown you, and I said, well, basically the model's together now. All I gotta do is put the canopy on and install, because at this point it's just installing a receiver and hooking up all your peripherals. So I went and installed my receiver, made sure all my servos were centered, and then I hooked up all my control surfaces. So let's just go ahead and put our peripherals on. And that's these drop tanks. Okay, now I will not be, after studying how these missiles go on, what you have to do is this square sectional wing here. You undo this screw in here, and then you wedge this piece. You're going to expose bare foam, and you're saying, okay, I don't want to use this. And then you're going to install this piece with a little backing nut that you pull out of here, and put that down in that wing, and then you can glue in each of these individual missiles if you want to. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to leave the wing clean. Okay, the only thing I'm going to be doing is I'll be using these drop tanks. I'll take them on and off. So while we're doing that, let's go ahead and install the glue-in peripherals, which on the underside of the right, let's see, this would be upside down, so this would be the left wing, I think. I don't know. Anyways, it's the only place that this little peripheral here fits. Okay, is you'll see a little indentation here. Let me get where you can see a little bit closer. Sorry. Okay, let me move you to where you can see what I'm doing. Okay, see this little area right here? Okay, go ahead and take something kind of sharp there to kind of scuff that up. And this just fits in there like a piece of a puzzle. Okay, go ahead and dry fit it one time. Then just get the regular contact cement glue or whatever kind of glue you like to use. Okay, good old white tube glue is perfect for this. And just put that down there, pull it out one time, it's stringy, and then get that in there like that. Always get glue on your fingers. I mean, it says no glue assembly, but yeah, if you don't want to add the peripherals. Okay?
Time remaining 4 minutes.
Yes, yes, yes. Yes, I do have the model bound and everything. All right, now, while that's drying, let's go ahead and just let you know, I told you on these control surfaces or the control horns, you put the longer screw towards the inside of the control surface and the shorter one out. I put a dab of glue in between each of these plastic sandwiches. You know, the sandwich or the back plate and the front, and I put just a dab of glue just for my own. You don't have to. The screws do fit, but I like to have that little extra bit of insurance. Okay, so let's turn the model back over. We can actually lose a plane stand because I've got the gear dropped. I've also worked out CG according to the manual. Now I'm going to put rates and everything in Fat Guy style. I'm not going to be using the factory rates. I'm going to put the rates the way I like rates to be on us Corsair. So just to let you know. Okay, now on the back of your model, you've got 3 antennae. Okay, a big one, a little one. You've got this one here. You got a fat one, and then you got a real little one that fits in the middle that I just dropped out, and I'll have to find it. We're not real, you know, here on FatGuyFliesRC, we're not real scripted. We do make a lot of mistakes, and I'd rather just share that with you. So let's go ahead and get that glue, and we're going to go ahead and glue in the fat antenna, and it goes to the very back position. Just fits there just like that. Only goes in one way. And then we're going to glue the, I don't know what antenna this is, what it's called. Sure, it has a specific name, but it goes right there in the second position. And then when I find the little one, I'll put it in the third position. Okay, so let's let those things dry. And let's work on the propeller. All right, let me get up here close to where you can see what I'm doing. Okay, these propellers only fit one way. Okay, you got this. This is your, actually the front of the, see how that is? Okay, see this part right here? This is actually going to go to the motor, so this is the bottom piece. So you want to lay the piece that has the octagon shape to it, lay it down. But before you do that, go ahead and get your screws out. Okay, go ahead and take this bottom piece, take these locking nuts, and drop them in there. Okay, so go ahead and drop them in there, just like that. Basically, we're making a big plastic sandwich. Okay, with a flush end, it sits down. Okay, then put this on. I'm holding them screws in as I work my way around, or holding them nuts in as I work my way around. Okay. 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 Again, I started working on this, and I realized I've drifted off camera. All right, still got the 4 screws. Got that one that fell out. Hold that one in place. Just hit the camera with my foot. Always do that at least once. Alrighty, when you're done, that's how that should look. These should be flush, the same amount of screw showing through, and that should be flush. Okay, now back to your model. Remember we got that hexagon shape there? Just rotate until it, there we go. Now, this is probably besides the drop tanks, this is the second hardest part of the model right here. This is horrible. You just spin that in there, okay, and just hand tighten it. Okay, and that is all there is to it. All right, now back you up. We plug the model in. Okay, and you can see it in all of its lit up glory. Excuse me, Mr. NG, but we're running out of room. Now, one thing, a lot of people are having a hard time with, where'd my camera go? With the battery hatch, how deep that battery sits down in there really, really deep at an angle. But the front of this rides up against the front of that battery and holds it in place. So you don't have to worry about that battery sliding about. I did slide the ESC out a little bit. Okay. And I just used some double-side Velcro for the side. Let me just show you my arrangement inside. Okay. But the ESC is right there. Just double-sided Velcro to the side, and that battery just kind of sits down there in that trough down there. Okay. All right. Now, I haven't picked up rates, or all I've got is just communication with the models. All I've done. Now, you make sure all your wires are down. Push that canopy down, and it just locks into place, and it's not going to go anywhere. All right. Now, let me show you the flaps real quick. Okay. So I haven't done anything. Got all my control surfaces hooked up, but I don't have anything done as far as there's my gear going up. And the gear going back down. Alrighty. The only other thing I'm going to do now, of course, now I'm going to get her all set up in the model with my rates and trim and all in forward program and everything with that AS3X1. Okay, I've upgraded the receiver to AS3X Plus via my Spectrum USB cable. That's an older AR631. Upgraded to AS3X Plus. I got a video on that. And now I'm just going to get her all set up with rates, set up with forward programming, get everything taken care of. But we'll go over that after the maiden at the field, and I'll go over my rates, my flying rates, and everything at the field after the flight, because I want to be able to, when I tell you, when you see it fly, and then I land and say, okay, here's the rates I had them in. That way you saw it was proven to you. All right, well, FMS, thank you for sending me out the F4-U Corsair. I can't wait to get it made, hopefully tomorrow. And I'm going to spend the rest of the evening looking for that little antenna that dropped out. Because I had dry fitted in, and when I turned it over to show you, it dropped down on the floor. And it's blue, and I got a blue carpet down here. So, yeah. All right, well, FMS, thank you for sending out the plane. We're going to get it out. If you want this plane, there's going to be a link in the description of this unboxing assembly or post-assembly video. The Christmas sale, it may have a better discount, but if you've never bought anything off my links from FMS, you can take 10% off your entire order. And after that, you can always use my link and take $10 off whatever you purchase. So just to let you know, but that 10% off is a one-time use per customer. Oh, there's the antenna. I see it over there now. But the Christmas sale may be a better deal, whichever one's the better. One guy bought with my stuff. He says he was able to get them to stack. I haven't been able to prove that one way or the other. I don't think they're supposed to stack, but if he does, hey, you know, if you can put them all together, great. But anyways, there you go, folks. Thank you so much for watching. God bless y'all. I'm going to do the radio programming left. I'm going to give it a clear coat, and then we'll see you out in the field. We'll fly it, and then we'll go over all the rates and how I flew. All right, God bless y'all. God is good. And don't forget, faith, family, and friends, and then FMS, big old F1400mm Corsairs. Bye, y'all.